Calculating federal income tax and completing a worksheet. In order to make adjustments to federal income tax, do the following first. 1. Complete all other adjustments on a worksheet, which this was section 2 through 5. 2. Extend all amounts except federal income tax expense to the income statement or balance sheet columns. 3. On a separate sheet of paper, total the worksheet's income statement columns. Then, calculate the difference between the income statement debit and credit columns. The difference is the net income before federal income tax expense. Calculating federal income tax. Different tax percentages are applied to different portions of the net income to determine the total federal income tax owed. So there are 5 sets here. Sometimes you might not use all 5. So on the first 50,000, 15%, the next 25, and so on and so on. Then you would add each one up to get your total federal tax amount. Here's an example. Hobby Shack's net income before federal income tax is $104,203. So on the first 50,000, you're going to multiply by 15%. So first 50,000, and we get 7,500. On the next 25,000, so we take 25,000 times 25%, and we get 6,250. So we're up to 75,000 so far. On the next 25,000, we take 25 times the 34%, we get 8,500. So we're up to 100,000. On the next 225,000, so we have to see where we are. We take our 104,000 minus the combine of the 3 previous, and we're left with 4,000. And we take this times our 39%. We get 1,639. On the last one, above 335,000, which in this case we don't have anymore, so it does not exceed this number, so our last one, we'll just put a 0. We add all of these to get our total federal tax amount of $23,889.24. Federal income tax expense adjustment. There are 4 quarters in a year, and corporations are required to pay their estimated taxes each quarter. So, an example, Hobby Shack paid $4,500 each quarter installment for a total of $18,000. Using the federal tax amount from the previous slide of $23,000, calculate the federal income tax adjustment. So, you would take our federal income tax of $23,000 less the total of quarterly installments, which would be $18,000, which then will equal our federal income tax adjustment, $5,889. As you can see, when entering it onto your worksheet, the number that we calculated with all our table tax that go here, the difference between the ending and the beginning is our adjustment of what we just calculated. This would be our 4-quarter installment. So completing a worksheet. So 1, you need to total the income statement and balance sheet columns. Write in the amount total column, net income after federal income tax. Income statement and balance sheet, you need to calculate and enter the net income after the federal income tax. So take your debit and credit, find the difference, add to the smaller number, calculate totals. So once we've extended everything, we find our totals for income statement and balance sheet. You notice that they do not match. The difference between these, credit and debit, we would add to our lower number, the debit one in this case, to bring down our balances that will match. Do the same over here, and then you will notice that our net income after federal income tax is the same. So, the work together. Use the worksheet from our previous ones that we've been working with. 1, we need to extend all amounts except federal income tax expense to the appropriate income statement or balance sheet columns. Do not total the columns. So there's going to be 2 that you do not carry through. There's 2 of them that said federal income tax. One will be expense, be at the very bottom. Second one should be on the first page that says payable. Do not extend them all the way across to the income statement or balance sheet. But everything else, bring your balances through. So remember that the balance sheet contains all our assets, liabilities, and owner's equity, which will also include capital stock, retained earnings, and dividends. So everything that goes in your balance sheet should be cash on down to dividends. And this should be everything on your first page. Dividends is on your second page. Your income statement contains basically your income summary on down. So income summary, revenue, all your purchases, cash short and over, and all your expenses. So income summary to income statement on down. Take some time to do that now. Pause the video so you can do this. All right. Once you've extended everything, make sure you do not total them yet. Step 2, on the form provided in your work papers, this would be on the bottom of your pages of your worksheet. This is at the top of your first worksheet. It's on the bottom. We will be filling this out. Worksheet income statement columns. Calculate the difference between the debit and credit totals. The difference becomes the net income before. So here we need to total our income statement column, credit and debit, but we're not writing it on our worksheet. We're going to write it here. So the total of our credit column for income statement should come to $859,000. And then our debit column should come to $714,000. The net income before federal income tax would be the difference between these two, and that's $145,000. Step 3. Step 3. Using the tax table shown in this chapter, which we've done previous, calculate the federal income tax expense, record the income tax adjustment on the worksheet, and label this H. So first, 50,000 times by 15%. Next, 25,000 times by 25%. The next 25,000 by 34%. In this blank spot here, this is where we put our number of the net income tax before federal, which we calculated at $145,000. Subtract our $100,000, that because this is coming from our $50,000 plus our 225s, and we get $45,000 times the tax rate of 39%, gives us $17,000. We would add these 4 to get $40,000 for our total federal income tax. So On our worksheet, in our beginning trial balance, we have $40,000. The $40,000 that we just calculated will come to our income statement on the debit side. Because it's an expense, normal balance is debit. The difference between these two will be our adjustment, and that'd be on the credit side or debit side here, and then credit for our tax payable. Then for our tax payable up here for federal income tax, we carry the balance through. Then you guys would finish finding your total of your income statement and balance sheet here. Make sure you find your total for your adjustments as well, and trial balance if you have not. Find the difference between your debit and credit for your income statement and balance sheet. Place them in the appropriate places. Then carry your balances down. Make sure you label your income statement, your income, net income, as net income after federal income tax. You carry your balances down. And that was section 6.